What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. Doing this quick video. I'm gonna try to do one later on today. Also, not today, tomorrow, definitely. I know I regurgitate this numerous times, but I am so up to here, the tip of my forehead, on some foreign blacks constantly trying to tell us who we are. And that's really sad and sick. It seems like there's so much investment in us telling us who we are, making us something different and making us foreigners in our own land. It's this African lady, I think she's Nigerian. Her name starts with a Y. She has something talking about Black Americans call themselves Aboriginals, that we are Aboriginals. This chick don't know what the hell she's talking about, unfortunately. You have a lot of people on her page bigging her up, and some of them might have been Black Americans. I'm proud of my African heritage. I'm African. It's just, I had to shake my head how ignorant these Negroes are, not understanding that so-called black people are Aboriginal on this planet. And they have not studied nothing, or just going by what they have been indoctrinated with. It's so sad. And this is a message for me to do one of these videos. Segment in the Aboriginal community who have a deep level self-interest in who we are, and they have this fake fascination with us worshiping over Africa, and that is what has been constructed to us. So when you hear people like Umar Johnson and these clowns, they want to make you, like I said, foreigners in your own land. There's so much documented proof of who the original people were here. But many of these Negroes don't want to see that because I said it before in other videos, they cannot fathom the fact that Negroes are already over here and they knew nothing about it because they've been taught that they were slaves from Africa. Like I said, there's too much information out here. There's too much information out there. I showed you a book on Malinche. All right? And how the part of the downfall of the Aztec Empire was her ass. But the point is that it was obviously a black woman. The name Malinche, Mandingo. But you get these Negroes who won't even admit to this, man. They would just flat out deny this. And when you hear people like Jabari, Garfield, both of them are Caribbean descent, and it's nothing to all black people from the Caribbean. There's some who know the truth. You got some Coon, you got some Harvey, who want to say that all the black people here either brought over a boat or through breeding farms. That's a lie. That's what these white folks want you to believe, man. Or the Indians adopted us into their tribe. No, it was the other way around. Damn it. Our people was building pyramids, mounds, and castles here in ancient America. It did the same thing around the world. You see castles in Europe, you see castles here in America. You see mounds here in America, you see mounds in Europe. Damn. Some of our people don't get the thick skull because they go to these schools, they get degrees, man. And it seems like they get dumber each year they're in school. Man, I'm so happy that I had access to certain materials, information that I was able to read and research. And I'm not gonna come with that Negro gibberish, and I use common sense. So-called have diverse their physical structure, their physical features. Now all of us have a flat nose. Not all of us have woolly hair. You hear niggas talking about African features. So have African. All features originate from so-called black people. It's that certain features, when it comes from individuals who are more diluted, they take less of the diversification of features compared to the people who are the original. Simply put, white folks are a diluted version of so-called black people. So they would take on limited features of black people. So so-called pointy nose, white people say that's European features. That's not true. Those features originate from so-called Negroes. Small lips that originate from Negroes, as well as full lips. We always had the diversification. But some of our people don't get that. They allow white scientists, what they do, they just read everything these white folks tell them and read it verbatim instead of not just looking at it critically and then breaking down what they're reading. And I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this for these Negroes with these so-called degrees. They are very ignorant. That's what I said, don't listen to them. Do not listen to these Negroes. Do not listen to them. You have to do your own study, your research. You have to put in the work. Trust me, it's not easy. You done Google, man. They done erased a lot of stuff. Erased a lot of stuff. A lot of information. I stated that before. They have taken information back in 1990 on the internet. You would have found it back in 2003. Yeah, you would have found it back in 2007. Yeah, you would have found it back in 2010. You don't find it today because they purged it out of there. You're going to probably have to go to the quote, the deep web or the quote, dark web. It's sad. This is a concerted effort to basically shelve viable historical information and then replace it with false information. Common sense. If the original people of North Africa were black, like these Negro Pan-Africans will tell you, which they were, obviously in Southern Europe, where it's a little warmer, those Negroes were there too. So all those Negroes did was just carry on from one part of North Africa over to Europe. That's why I tell you that when the Greeks were Egyptians, that's all they were. It was just basically some of them would swirl in certain directions, and they took those wind currents. All right, and they use those wind currents. When the wind currents, like I said, sail to one direction, one direction, sail to another direction, or they may shift to the weather. All right, but it still got them to their destination, and they was able to track where if they ever got off course, they were able to track where they're at with the stars to get back on course. So it was stargazers. They had other measurements. If like clouds were in the sky to interfere their travel, or to see in the sky, they had other different measurements. But I'm trying to tell you, they had a high level of ancient technology where they built different structures. All right. They had the concept of iron. You know how to smelt iron. And like I said before, when you look at a lot of these national parks, you see images of large heads of animals or ancient bridges or crossways that were built, but now they're deteriorating due to the fact because they have not been kept up. But a lot of these places are called national parks, or the military control those areas that you won't go to certain parts. These people are suppressing information. They don't want you to know your true history of Americans, man. And I picked up on this a long time ago. I was like, something skunky. Like I said before in my other videos when I talk about how a lot of these Pan-Africans are just stuck on Africa. And I got kind of tired of it. And I started questioning certain things. A lot of stuff was between holes. And I wanted to fill up the information where I felt there was a bunch of holes. Once I started filling up that information, I started to really realize that how great you could lie to me. Like you look at some of my other videos, I show you pictures of black kings, and they had white slaves, black rulers when they're white slaves, pale slaves, ruling here in the Americas. Right. When they were ruling in the Americas, and they used the white people as sacrificial victims. When the king dies, they die with the king. I showed you videos of that, images of that. I showed you images of the ancient Minoans, Greeks, they were black. And it showed you Negroes on ships. Remember, we had the technology of ships. And one of those ships, when I looked at it, one of those images had the brothers with afros. And I thought of Earth, Wind, and Fire when we was white. And the early Earth, Wind, and Fire. And they covered when we had the big ass afros. That's what I was thinking, man. But every time I look at those pictures, you see the images in their true natural color. Restoration process. We melanated people. When I mean melanated, I'm talking about so-called black people. I'm talking about people get nothing but a diluted melanin of black people. I'm talking about black people, so-called black people. Are aboriginal to this planet. You gotta get out your mind that you just come from West Africa. And that the Sahara Desert is the ancient McMason-Dixon line. That's a lie. Because that desert was not always there. There was always population moving about because certain areas, their lifeblood, the river system, the water, will dry up in one region and they move about to another region where they can go fishing in maritime trade. So they weren't just situated in one location. Brothers and sisters were constantly moving. They had the technology of boats because they needed that to spread the ideology, but also a lot of these populations started to overgrow certain regions. So individuals will move out to other areas and settle there. So we have to put the other pieces together and be more critical thinking. When I hear these Negro individuals constantly tell you the descendant of African slaves, they're idiots. Right? Do not listen to them, please. Look how many degrees they have. They're a bunch of coons, they're idiots. Telling you you're a descendant of African slaves is a damn lie. The original people who were enslaved or prisoners of war, I said this over and over, were the Aboriginal blacks in America. They weren't African. They were Aboriginal blacks in America, and then you obviously had the black people who in Europe were expelled out of there. I remember I showed you images of St. Peter. Right? I showed you images of the original Catholic Church, the original priests, the original popes. Many of the popes I showed you. The popes were originally all black. The priests were originally all black. And you look at a lot of those temples over in Europe, them structures, you see that here in the Americas, man. All that stuff originated with so-called black people. All of it. All of it. And it is stolen from us, man. When you look at the images of the council, not seeing it. The original image, you see Negroes. But they have a fake image that they put on the internet. It's just a bunch of white folks or people, so-called Mediterranean, which is the damn sea. It's not race, they don't mean that. Use their geopolitical terminology, BS. This is what these bastards are doing. And this is why I emphasize we need to create our history of our studying. And start getting rid of drugs. But no, seriously, this is information that you got to put in concept. That's why I give you books. Some of you can get various different used bookstores, a site, named thrift books. That's one. But other bookstores, used bookstores you can get. Some of these used bookstores, they do have newer books. But then some of them have newer books, used books in good condition. Alright? But I want you to continue to do research because listen to these damn Negroes, man. These so-called Negroes, man, they're ignorant. I just laugh about their ass. I grew up around them. Alright, I'm glad my father did not embrace that bougie. Alright, neither did my aunt. She didn't embrace that bougie. She had money, but she didn't, my great aunt, she had money, but she didn't live lavishly, nothing like that. She had a little home and a land. Alabama. So, roll tide, right? So, but, yeah, she had that in her, where she was at, Alabama. But, thank goodness, that We didn't. That didn't rub off. Thank goodness. So I didn't. I never was around the bootleg. I knew how them Negroes got down. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I always thought there was a bunch of coons. And I want you brothers and sisters, man. Don't embrace that nonsense. The hell with these Negro fraternities, sororities, these Masons. I don't give a that stuff, man. Well, that's me. All right, but a lot of these organizations are bootleg cliques. Cliquish Negroes. But this wind's probably gonna kind of mess up my reception a little bit. Now, like I said, I apologize for that. But to let you know, man, let this wind go by a little bit. To let you know, though, is that our history and our true history is very critical. We really need to study our true history and comprehend it and understand it. I'm going to continue to give out good information for you to do your research with. All right? I'm going to end up talking about so many things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Black Roman Empire. I want to talk about the Black Sephardic Jews in Spain. There's so much stuff that these bastards have lied about. They've done so much lying. Negro pirates, which is the Vikings. Because like I said before, the Vikings were Moors. The Vikings were Negroes. They weren't white. The Vikings were Negroes. The original Vikings were Negroes. And those black Vikings did sail to the Americas. They sailed to the Americas. The original black Vikings did sail to the Americas. But see, some people, like I said, we've been conditioned and brainwashed that the white man's God. The white man's ice is better. When white folks are not indigenous to nothing. I said before, one of my pages, like I said, I said this over before. The clown on my page talking about the black people I was showing in Europe were Africans. And you don't know what you're talking about. Get the hell off my page, man. You idiot. Black people are not located in one area, and those weren't Africans. Those are black royalty, black nobility in Europe. But you're going to have idiots. Then start quoting books, thinking I didn't know about these individuals. If I read those individuals, I read those books, and I read more than his ass. Now, I either was a Pan-African coon or an ignorant, non-black person, a white person, gonna come and try to tell me about my history. Really? That's another thing. We gotta put that in check. Stop allowing outsiders to tell you who you are. Going back to the African lady. Those Negroes on our page, man, should check their ass. But that African Dominion chick, the brother was trying to tell her who he was, or is, and where our true origin comes from. This chick kept trying to correct her. Then she gonna go to knock him easy, and he said they're talking that mess about DNA and that we're descendants of African slaves. You don't know what the hell he's talking about. But this is the mindset I'm telling you of our people, man. We gotta really do our real research. All right. If you want to be a Pan-African, man, take your ass to Africa. Man. Let us regain our true history. If you're not with that, man, shut up. Don't speak for us. You're not of our bloodline. And I'm not saying this to all Africans, because there's some Africans who actually have ancestors who come from here. But then you have brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. I'm not naming all. I'm not saying all. But there's too many of them coming over here cooling, and it causes a division amongst us. That's not cool, man. Come over here and cause division. Get some of these African women. But they don't say nothing about their man. But their man don't want nothing to do with theirs. They chase another light-skinned black woman.